Hey yo, what is good, ladies and gentlemen? It is your boy Chad bringing y'all another video, and it has been a minute since I've done a video, but I'm back. I'm always taking like little breaks. I have no clue why. I just be seeing stuff that happens around the world, and I just be like, man, that is crazy. But like to actually report on it is like, at this point, it's like reporting on it is like, if you don't see what's happening, I don't like me showing you is not gonna help. But I gotta realize that I still gotta do my part and still show you anyway. So yeah, we back. But do you guys know what's crazy, right? People have been saying for months or years, you know, the government's getting involved with these social media programs, their social media websites, they're doing all these different things, they're colluding, everybody's against these certain people or this political ideology, they're trying to censor information. People say, oh, you're pushing misinformation, that's a difference, disinformation, you're pushing lies and propaganda, you're pushing conspiracy theories, and it's been right all along. Like, I feel crazy. Like, most days I actually genuinely, like, to be completely 100 with you guys, I genuinely feel crazy because stuff that I was saying from 2 years ago to today has been very factual, very correct. I've been censored on YouTube. I have been censored on Instagram, fact check left and right. Oh, this is misinformation, disinformation. Twitter. I mean, I deleted my Twitter because I was already going down like a cesspool of complete propaganda. And then it just turns out that like 2.5 years later, it's like the truth comes out and you were right the whole time. And I'm not saying that as like I'm Mr. Right. It's just like me saying all the things I did has made me lose friends, made people like look at me crazy, made people think I'm crazy. They say something's wrong with Chad, he fell off the deep end, blah, blah, blah. And when that stuff happens, it really makes you feel like you're crazy. Like, maybe it is me. Like, I think that most days I'm like, maybe it is me. Maybe what I was saying was some nonsense. And I start thinking like them, and then it comes out that I was right, and I'm like, I knew I wasn't wrong. You know what I mean? It's not that I'm questioning myself, but it's like, am I on the right side? Am I standing for truth? But then I get reinforced with, yeah, because all they do is push out lies and just lies, just constant lies. But in this video, we're going to be talking about the Twitter files part 7, that the FBI colluded with Twitter to suppress the Hunter Biden laptop story and just suppress a whole bunch of information, which is just completely up the alley of, you know, the FBI. It's the feds are being feds. They're, you know, doing stuff they shouldn't be doing. And that's honestly the bottom line. So we have here from Michael Schlerdenberger, and I'm probably not going to go through all of it. I kind of just want to get to the meat and the potatoes. But he says, the FBI and the Hunter Biden laptop, how the FBI and intelligence community discredited factual information about the Hunter Biden's foreign business dealings, both after and before the New York Post revealed the contents of his laptop on October 14th, 2020. And I believe, if I am thinking with my brain, I believe that I myself posted about Hunter Biden's laptop and the contents that were on it. I don't know if it got, I guess, what is the word for it? If it got censored or not. Maybe it's up on YouTube. Let me see. I'm gonna go to my channel real quick and see what it's talk about. Let me actually check, because I do believe that I actually did post a Hunter Biden. Okay, New York Times admits Hunter Biden laptop is real. This is March 2018. So I guess I did post a Hunter Biden video. I don't know if one of them got taken out, but it doesn't matter. In the Twitter files number 6, we saw the FBI relentlessly seek to exercise influence over Twitter, including over its content, its users' data. Blah, blah, blah. We present evidence pointing to an organized effort by representatives of the intelligence community aimed at senior execs, news, and social media companies to discredit leaked information. And what's crazy is, if you guys know, Joe Rogan had an interview with Mark Zuckerberg, and he was like, the FBI came to us ahead of time and were like, hey, this story's about to release. And he didn't say what story, but we know because it was around the time of election time. This story's about to release. You know, need to censor the information because it's Russian disinformation. And what's so strange to me about all of this stuff is, I don't know when we've been so obsessed with Russian disinformation. Like, what is that? What is it? Can anybody tell me what Russian disinformation is? Like, why are we believing a whole nother country about what this country has going on? You think if the United States released something about Putin or his kids, if he has kids, and then Putin and them were like, oh, this is just American disinformation. Like, what does any of this actually mean? Like, what do these words mean? Misinformation, disinformation, all these words just came out recently. I'm not saying they did not exist before, but like, what does any of this mean? Like, when have we believed Russia about information about us? And why would it be Russian disinformation? Anyways, man. So the story begins in December 2019 when a Delaware computer store owner named Paul Isaac contacts the FBI laptop that Hunter Biden left with him. They issued a subpoena for and takes Hunter Biden's laptop. By August 2020, Mac Isaac still not heard back from the FBI, even though he had discovered evidence of criminal activity. And he also emails Rudy Giuliani, who was under FBI surveillance at the time. And the Giuliani gives it to the New York Post. NewYorkPost.com. Smoking gun emails reveal how Hunter Biden introduced Ukraine. Because it's on the laptop, it shows Hunter Biden has business dealings in Burisma, which is a Ukrainian oil company. And they're like, we're going to give 10% to the big guy and all this. Who's the big guy? The only big guy that it could be if it's Hunter Biden is Joe Biden, Hunter Biden's son. There's no other big guy. There's no other big guy. There's no Obama. There's no Trump. Because why would Hunter Biden be working with Trump? Everything they said about Trump, oh, he's pushing Russian disinformation. He's working with Putin. Like, they're projecting everything the Bidens did. And this is all old news. That's what makes me so angry about this stuff. Like, I'm trying to cover it, but it makes me angry because people didn't want to believe it because the news said, no, it's fake, Russian disinformation. And they censored it. It's a difference between the laptop story being out there, people been able to see, like, this is weird. Like, are they really doing this? And the story comes out and they censor it and everything. Shortly before 7 p.m. on October 13th, Hunter Biden's lawyer, George Messiahs, emails JP Mac Isaac. Hunter and Messiahs have learned from the New York Post that story about the laptop will be published the next day. Thank you for speaking with me tonight. As I indicated, I'm a lawyer for Hunter Biden. I appreciate you reviewing your records on this matter. Let's get past a little bit of this. October 14th, the New York Post runs its explosive story revealing the business dealings of President Joe Biden's son, Hunter. Every single fact in it was accurate. And as you see here, you can see the cover. And this is from October 14th, 2020. So we're getting closer to election time, and this information is coming out. And yet, within hours, Twitter and other social media companies censored the New York Post article, preventing it from spreading and, more importantly, undermining its credibility in the minds of many Americans. Why is that? What exactly happened? Hold on, let me close my door. On December 2nd, Matabi described a debate inside Twitter over his decision to censor a wholly accurate article, since they only discovered new info that points to an organized effort. First, it's important to understand that Hunter Biden earns tens of millions of dollars in contracts with foreign businesses, including ones linked to China's government. I mean, we already knew that Joe Biden and Hunter work with China. They sell us out to China all the time. But nothing new underneath the sun. So, I mean, at this point, it's kind of, to me, just like, believe what you want to believe. I mean, people easily, it's so weird because people easily believe the lies and the deception of the media and these social media platforms and banning these people and censoring, and then them getting in front of the Congress and taking an oath and putting it on God that they don't do this, and then these Twitter files come out that they all were doing it. And if Twitter's doing it, then you know Facebook is definitely doing it. You know Instagram is definitely doing it. Because where have the fact checkers gone? I haven't been fact checked for anything in months since the election. Before the election, everything fact check, misinformation, taken down, blah, this disturbing, this is, you cannot post this here. After the election, not a single fact check. It's like, we did what we had to do, mission accomplished. Let the people post what they want. We're going to be the arbiters of truth. And it's like, how do people not see this? They're so caught up on January 6th. And they're caught up on all this nonsense. They're not worried about inflation. They're not worried about the US dollar being useless. We're about to go to a cashless society. They're about to come out with the chip. They're not worried about none of that. They're not worried about these people are evil, the pedophile rings, none of it. They're not worried about Jeffrey Epstein Island, which the FBI knew about the whole entire time, even from documentaries. People came forth saying he got an island. He making us do weird stuff. They all in on it, bro. They all in on it. Goodness gracious. It makes me so mad. Like, this is information, even without being censored. If people just took the time to just look into it for like 30 seconds, they would see this is corrupt. Why do we support this? But instead they, like, I don't get it. They just close their ears, close their eyes, and they just wander through society like NPCs. Like, and another thing, I know I'm going on a rant here, but another thing that really upsets me is when a lot of people say, if it doesn't affect me, I don't care. That is the worst thing you can say. Just because it doesn't affect you doesn't mean you don't have to not care. Like, when are you going to ever care about anything? You going to ever stand for anything? You going to fall for anything? If it doesn't affect you and you don't care, when it finally gets to your doorstep, you're not going to be prepared to withstand it. And yet, during all of 2020, the FBI and other law enforcement agencies repeatedly primed Yael Roth to dismiss reports of Hunter Biden's laptop as a Russian hack and leak operation. Let's see. Since 2018, I've had regular meetings with the Office Director of National Intelligence, the Department of Homeland Security, the FBI, and the industry peers regarding election security. During these weekly meetings, the federal law enforcement agencies communicated that they expected hack and leak operations by state actors might occur in the period shortly before the 2020 presidential election. So what this is saying, if they're expecting hack and leak operations, means they knew about this stuff. They knew that what could come out could possibly sway people's minds. So they're putting these warnings out. And it's during the election. This is like election interference. This is like collusion. I was told in these meetings that the intelligence community expected that individuals associated with political campaigns would be subject to hacking attacks, and the material obtained through those hacking attacks would likely be disseminated over social media platforms, including Twitter. These expectations of hack and leak operations were discussed throughout 2020. I also learned in these meetings that there were rumors that the hack and leak operations would involve Hunter Biden. All right. And like I said, for Facebook, see, I be speaking facts.
Is the FBI, I think, basically came to us, some folks on our team. It was like, hey, just so you know, like, you should be on high alert. We thought that there was a lot of Russian propaganda in the 2016 election. We have it on notice that basically there's about to be some kind of dump of that's similar to that. The background here.
Okay, one thing about this Twitter Files Part 7, I saw it came out and I never read it. Everything that I threw to y'all in the beginning of this video was off the dome, and they're showing exactly what I knew, that if people would do their research, bro, just like literally just 5 minutes of research to try to find something, you will see, if you live in an echo chamber or you're trying to figure out the truth, if you just take the time and just say, you know what, I want to be neutral. No matter how I feel about this, I'm going to do the research. And whatever the research shows me is true. I take my opinion or how I feel. At first, you're going to be in denial. Then you're going to start working up. What are the levels of denial and all that, where you start working up to, I accept it, and move on. All right. Were the FBI warnings of a Russian hack leak operations relating to the Hunter Biden based on any new intel? No, they weren't. Through our investigations, we did not see any similar competing intrusions to what happened in 2016, admitted FBI, blah, blah, blah. Indeed, Twitter executives reportedly reported very little Russian activity. On September 24, 2020, Twitter told FBI it had removed 345 largely inactive accounts linked to previously coordinated Russian hacking attempts. They had a little reach and low follower counts. So I guess what they're saying is, they're saying that this is Russian hack leak materials, but yet, there wasn't any real Russian activity on the platform during these times. And there was nothing compared to like what happened in 2016, they're saying. In fact, Twitter debunked false claims by journalists of foreign influence on its platforms. We haven't seen any evidence to support that claim by blah, blah, blah. Our review thus far shows a small domestic troll effort. So they're saying, like, all out of an abundance of caution, I want to reach out to you about this news story, blah, blah, blah. The second part article focused on DC blackout campaign and its potential to being driven by foreign-controlled bots. Anything you should be aware of concerning this topic. We haven't seen any evidence to support the claim. Our review does show small-scale domestic troll effort. So basically like a troll, like they just pulling people's legs here. And let me keep going. Let me see. Because in here, I did see that the FBI paid Twitter. Let me see. All right, cool. So I was able to actually find it. Let me see here. So this is the same dude, Michael Schellenberger, who at this point, he's at number 44 of like the Twitter files. So he says, notably, then FBI General Counsel Jim Baker was investigated twice in 2017 and 19 for leaking information to the news media. You're saying he's under criminal investigation. That's why you're not letting him answer, Meadows asked. Yes. In the end, FBI's influence campaign aimed at executives at news media, Twitter, and other social media companies' work. They censored and discredited the Hunter Biden laptop story. By December 2020, Baker and his colleagues even sent a note thanks to the FBI for its work. So basically in here, you see where they say, thanks so much. Let us know if you draft a letter. Thanks, I will sign it with scale. Blah, blah, blah. Then it says the FBI's influence campaign may have been helped by the fact that it was paying Twitter millions of dollars for its staff time. I'm happy to report we have collected $3.4 million since October 2019, reports an associate of Jim Baker in early 2021. Jim, for your information, in 2019, Scale instituted a reimbursement program for our legal process response from the FBI. Prior to the start of the program, Twitter chose not to collect under this statutory right of reimbursement for the time processing. I'm happy to report we collected. This money is used for LP, for the TTR, and different things like that. And the pressure from the FBI and social media platforms continues. In August 2022, Twitter execs prepared for a meeting with the FBI whose goal was to convince us to produce on more FBI EDRs. EDRs are an emergency disclosure request. And yeah, like I said, I'll stop here. So basically, you know, the arms of the government are colluding with social media platforms, news networks. They even paid Twitter around a total of $3.4 million to help censor information for 2020. And all the way up to, it's showing August 2022. And they're still doing it. And the crazy thing is, nothing would have been done about it had they not been caught. Had Elon not taken his big billions and bought Twitter, this will all still be conspiracy theory that is now truth, like people have been saying for the longest. But anyways, man, let me know your comments down below. And as always, it has been your boy Chad, and I'm out. Peace.